Hey, and welcome back to the Michael Cohen Show. We now already achieved 60,000 subscribers as we are on our journey to 100,000. So let's try to make that happen before the end of the month. Make sure you like it and subscribe if you do. All right. So Donald Trump announced that JD Vance was going to be his vice presidential running mate. I mean, truly amazing. It is, in fact, nothing shy of an absolute fraud. All right. I want you to watch a 2016 clip of JD Vance being interviewed by Charlie Rose, and then you're going to hear my reaction.
And that feeling, unfortunately, if you think about the political dialogue that we're already starting to have, both on the left and the right, there's a movement to sort of gloat over the fact that the elites were right about Donald Trump. Right? I'm a never Trump guy. I never liked him. And I've noticed this willingness from people who think a lot like I do that, look, we told you so. To all these white working class voters, we told you so. We told you that Trump was going to be a terrible candidate. We told you that you were an idiot if you voted for him. The problem is, if you take that attitude of sort of gloating over Trump's defeat, then you're playing into the very thing that gave rise to Trump in the first place, which is a feeling that the elites think that they're smarter than you and just think you're a bunch of idiots.
Wow. And yet Donald chose this idiot for his running mate. In fact, this guy called Donald Trump an idiot, saying, if you vote for Donald Trump, you are an idiot. He expressed himself that he is a never Trumper and that it is the elites that are turning around and telling them that Donald was a terrible and would be a terrible candidate. Somehow along the line, he managed to end up bullshitting his way back into the good graces after all of the things that he said about Donald. And as well as I know Donald, as well as I know him, he is not a forgiving individual. But then things get even better. They don't just stop here, because dear old JD Vance doesn't stop there. In fact, there's another clip that was recently on Fox News where he said other things about Trump in the past. So let's go to that clip, and then you're going to hear my reaction as a whole.
This is an evolution, and I know you've been asked about this before, about past comments that you've made about Donald Trump. You've said, I'm a never Trump guy, never liked him, terrible candidate, idiot if you voted for him, might be America's Hitler, might be a cynical a-hole, cultural heroine, noxious and reprehensible. Those are things.
Wow. I mean, I don't even have to be the guy to turn around and to repeat the things that Brett just repeated to him. What I do like, again, is the whole notion, this is a evolution. Really? It's an evolution over a period of how long? How long before he is America's Hitler? Could you imagine? So what changed other than the fact that J.D. Vance has become the Goebbels to Hitler? I mean, seriously? What the hell could possibly have changed other than the fact that we saw Donald Trump in 2016 through 2020 actually become exactly what J.D. Vance talked about in 2016, the worst possible candidate imaginable. In fact, Donald Trump ended up adding another $6+ trillion to the deficit, unemployment, his mishandling of COVID, the lies that he told 35,000 of them, 35,000 during his 4 years of the presidency. And then afterwards, after he left, what did we see? Nothing but chaos. Nothing from chaos about Trump, with the taking of the top secret documents all the way to the accountability by the Manhattan District Attorney, by the New York Attorney General, twice impeached, 4 times indicted. This man is a political wrecking ball. Something that J.D. Vance knew, something that J.D. Vance said earlier on. It is an absolute and a complete fraud. And what bothers me the most is you're not going to see J.D. Vance sitting down with the likes of Nicole Wallace, or sitting down with Erin Burnett on CNN and being asked the tough questions. You see, if I had him on my Mea Culpa podcast, or if I had an opportunity to interview him, I would say, okay, so JD, here are some of the lovely things that you said about Donald in 2016. At what point in time did your belief in Donald Trump change? And he'll say, I never thought that Donald would be the greatest president in the history of America. Yeah. I know, my friend. We've all heard that same horse shit 100 different times. He was the greatest president of all time. Please tell me what made him the greatest president of all time. How was the economy under Donald Trump? And don't tell me that gas prices were $1 less. That doesn't make you the greatest president of all time. I would push him to explain where this transformation, where this evolution has come from, so that you are now the vice presidential candidate under the Republican banner, under the MAGA banner, under the Donald J. Trump banner. And I myself am very curious to understand how you went from calling him a cultural idiot, a never Trump, being a never Trumper, America's Hitler, cultural heroine. How is it that you ended up morphing into somebody who is knee deep into the dumpster cult of Donald Trump? It doesn't make sense. And let me give you a prediction or two in terms of what happens. You see, JD Vance is not Mike Pence. This is not a guy who's going to keep his mouth shut over the course of the 4 years. Donald knows that JD Vance can help to build that red wall throughout the Midwestern states, being that he's from Ohio. He could be helpful in Michigan, in Wisconsin, and so on. That's why Donald is using him. Donald is sucking it up because he knows without that red wall, he has no chance of winning in 2024. And if he doesn't win, we all know what happens. Sentencing for the Manhattan District Attorney case, September 18th. He was successful now in having Judge Eileen Cannon dismiss the case on the Mar-a-Lago documents. We're still waiting for 2 additional, so this case is going to end up obviously before the 11th Circuit, and most probably, and I predict it will be overturned, to which Trump will then go to the Supreme Court. My point being, if Trump doesn't win the election, his ass is fried, and he knows it. And so he's willing to suck it up and to take JD Vance as his running mate because the alternative is not good. But one other prediction that I have, I don't see JD Vance lasting the entire 4 years. This is not a guy who could keep his mouth shut. This is a guy who's much younger. All right. In fact, I think he will be the youngest vice president in U.S. history. This is not a guy who has the political experience or the ability to keep his mouth shut, which is exactly what Donald Trump wants from each and every one of his people. And I don't just mean the vice president. I'm talking about anybody in his cabinet. So rest assured, there's going to be a lot of tension. There's going to be a lot of fighting. There's going to be a lot of craziness. I truly don't think that JD Vance lasts all 4 years, though that also would be a first in time for Donald Trump. Rest assured, this is going to be one hell of a 2024 election cycle. Hey, everyone. First of all, thanks for watching. I mean, we're going to be posting daily episodes with reactions and talking about politics. We'll be talking about everything, in fact. So please like and subscribe. Join us on this journey.